Alright, so Record of Ragnarok, Apocalypse of the Gods, chapter number 19. We do have a winner. Of course, we knew that at the end of last month that this was going to be the final chapter. That is, in fact, the case. We're also going to touch a little bit on the Ragnarok chapter from the main series. But before that, though, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video if you want to stay on this side of the Record of Ragnarok algorithm. Also, big shout out to the members who continue to support the channel. So, of course, the big news, the winner of match 4, round 1 in the Apocalypse tournament is Morrigan. She did defeat Nezha with a move called either All Out Force or Full Throttled Execution. The match lasted 12 minutes and 58 seconds, so this time we did in fact get that title card. Before, earlier in the fight, we knew Nezha was probably going to continue fighting because when she had him like this, there was no title card indicating the match is over. Now we do get that revelation. We do see the timer, so that man is cooked. And big point of emphasis actually is Nezha is the first one in this tournament to actually die. He does die. He fades away in the same manner as the Ragnarok participants. Now there is a little caveat to that, as we see Wukong pick up this little diamond style thing that was left on the battlefield, and apparently he says, well, he's never truly dead as long as you have his core. So he's half dead, so to speak, and you could probably expect that he'll return at some point, given that, of course, Wukong has his core. Apparently, we also get to see Morrigan fight Echidna in the finals of the all-women tournament to determine the strongest goddess, because we get a little bit of a Morrigan backstory, which should have been expected. So that'd be cool to see. We also did get a new fighter revealed to us, that being Muramasa. When I first looked at this, it almost looked like it was a girl, and the leaker actually did say that she thinks it's just a feminine looking dude, and apparently that is the case. And apparently he's like a newborn god, like 100 years old or something like that. So he's classified as a spirit artifact called Tsukumogami. Not sure what that is. Maybe somebody in the comments can help us out. Quick Google search with the AI overview says a Tsukumogami is a class of Japanese yokai made from everyday household items that gains a spirit, sentience, and sometimes mischievous or dangerous personality after 100 years of use or neglect. So maybe that's what the 100-year tie-in is. Maybe that's what that means, like, oh, it's been 100 years, so now, like, he's woken up, he's got this sentience. Examples include haunted umbrellas, sandals, and these things basically embody a cultural idea about respecting objects and are often depicted as playful tricksters or vengeful spirits, depending on how well they were treated by their owners, reminding people to care for their belongings. Now, I do want to say that Muramasa, I want to say I'm familiar with some kind of story about him being tied to a sword, or Muramasa, you know, being a swordsmith, a human. I'm not sure if I'm misremembering that, but it'd be cool if Muramasa was a sword, if he is one of these spiritual artifacts or something like that. So this could get crazy. This could be pretty interesting. Let's see how they dive into that. But yes, he's a newborn god, and apparently he's pretty powerful if he's going to be in this tournament. We do know, of course, that he is going to be fighting Ahura Mazda in the next match. So we're going to get to see what he's capable of pretty soon. Ahura Mazda's design didn't really jump off the page for me, so I'd be down for Muramasa to get this win, but obviously we don't know what Ahura Mazda is going to be capable of. I'm pretty sure he's called the Unbalanced. Morrigan did lose an arm in the final exchange. Apparently she threw the last punch without her gauntlet, and it is a pretty gruesome sight. The arena is destroyed, man, so unlike last round where we got to start right away because the previous round took place outside of the arena, left the arena untouched, they should be taking some time to renovate the battle stage. I'd expect that there's going to be a bridge chapter after this one, so maybe we'll get an update on what happened with Belial and those other Greek gods. That'd be cool. Or maybe there'll be some kind of other B plot that's going on in the background. As for the main series, it looks as if we are going to stay in the Odin / Velk flashback, and apparently there's still a cliffhanger at that. So potentially we're gonna have another chapter of the backstory even beyond this one. As I'm sure some of you guys have noticed, I only covered the Apocalypse chapter last month. I didn't cover the main Ragnarok series chapter, which is way outside of the norm. I usually cover every chapter, but for one, I had a lot of shit going on last month and I was really busy. But the main thing that kind of like tipped the scales for me was that I really didn't like the chapters. They felt to me, and this is just obviously my personal opinion, very rushed and lazy. I mean, we didn't even get the names of the primordial gods that we're seeing sacrifice themselves. And I understand, like, hey, well, they're here for a couple panels, then they're going to be gone. But at least give us the names of the ones that run the council that we see later. And I'm not saying that, you know, it really matters with what ends up happening to them. But it's like you have all these opportunities. There's so many pantheons out there. Like, throw us a bone. Just be like, oh, yeah, this primordial was this guy. This primordial was this guy. You could just say that, right? And I thought that, like, if these characters are supposed to be important, they're the ones that came up with this plot to, like, seal Yggdrasil. Like, give us their names. You know what I'm saying? And then they talk about the council of primordials that were, you know, around after Gleipnir sealing away Yggdrasil. And randomly Izanami wasn't on the council. Now maybe there's a reason for that, but there's statements in it to say like all the remaining gods were on this council. We know Izanami survived. Maybe they don't know for some weird reason. I don't know. Hoping that is explained later, because there's a lot of plot problems with Izanami being a primordial, living through all this, not alerting anybody of Odin in the main timeline when they look extremely similar, him not being on the council. So that kind of pissed me off. The dynamic between Golnir and his wife was kind of weird. Then we get to like Velk, and it just kind of felt like it was all like rushed, like, hey, we're gonna try to like shoehorn this shit in, this is what happened, whatever. So we'll see where it goes. I'm gonna cover the chapter this month, and I'm gonna cover the rest of the series, but that didn't give me like the greatest optimism for the future if shit's gonna be looking like that. Now, it did pretty much confirm that we are gonna get a plot post Ragnarok, because Golnir's words were like, hey, somebody's gonna be able to defeat these guys down the line. So that's promising and cool, and makes you wonder like, hey, does Kentucky actually have a shot to win this fight here? Because beating Velk and potentially redeeming him from his possession or whatever, because it seems like he looked like he was a good kid from the last panel. Obviously, we'll probably get more explanation in this chapter, but I could really see a scenario in which, like, you know, Velk loses, and then we kind of like kick on into, oh, you know, real Yggdrasil is coming back. Now we got to fight them. So some interesting things from the chapter for sure. Everybody really wanted me to make the videos. I may make the videos, and obviously, like, if there's pertinent information that like has to be addressed, like, I'll talk about it. But that's kind of my general thoughts on it. Didn't think it was that big a deal. No actual fighting took place. Won't affect any of my supercut videos. So yeah, stay tuned for the videos this month. There'll definitely be 2. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.